Hey lovelies, I'm back with another video and let's recap. We went over these squares in part 1. So now it's time to construct the pants in this video, and that was the yarn I was looking for in part 1. So I'm going to use these 2 crochet hooks for this process. So I knocked out a few squares so I'll know how many squares I need to actually make my pants, and I wanted a fitted look this time around. So these were a great amount and I needed some more just to see the length. So I made a few more and this length was great for me, and I knew how many I needed after this. So I went ahead and started crocheting every and anywhere whenever I had time, and now I got all my squares, so I'm happy about that. So I finally finished all the squares. We got all of these bad boys. Now it's time to put them together. Just in case you didn't see part 1, I'm just letting you know I made 65 granny squares.
Okay, so I just want to show how I'll be stitching up. So I'll stitch it up going this all the way down. So it's separated right now because I separated it into 2 pants legs. So I'll stitch this going all the way across. I'll stitch this and stop at these 2 because this is 1 pants leg. I'll stitch that up. Then I'll stitch this up. Then I'll stitch this up, stitch this up, stitch this up, stitch this up, right? So once I finish stitching them all up this way, right? Then from this third going down, I'll stitch this up. So I'll stitch up going this way, and then I'll stitch it up going this way because this way is already done. Likewise for this, I'll stitch it up going up, stitch it up going up. When it comes to these 2, I'll stitch it up and around. So once I'm able to fold these pants around, like all of this is attached to this part is attached to this part, and it makes like a leg, like a circular cylinder shape. That's when I'll stitch these rows because I need this to be evenly spread out to the 4. So I need to stretch this so it could fit the 4 squares. So I can only do that in a round so that the middle portion is still straight going down. So yeah, just wanted to explain that so it's clear because when I stitch it up, it may not be as clear.
So this is the hook that I'll be using for majority of the crochet process. So right now, this is the waist and hips that I'm lining up. There's 6 squares for the waist and the hips. So in total, 12 squares. Mix the hips and the waist portion. But I will not crochet them all together at once because I like to add pockets to my things, and we're going to just crochet 4 of them at a time in this row. And I'm just showing you that I use a stitch marker so I don't get confused where my stitches need to end and start. So they start at the second chain 2 and they end at the first of the chain 2. So right here you see me going into the second chain 2 close to me. And if you watched my previous granny square crochet pants, you already know how I'm about to crochet these pants together. So right here I'm just showing you a little process of what I'm doing, but I love this mending, like this stitch of crocheting them together. So I think this would be my go-to for like every project that I use for crochet. Anyways, that's what I'm doing here. I'm going through the back loops only. So if you can't tell, I'm only going through the back loops. And make sure your yarn is always under your work, like behind. You see it's under, behind. That way you don't have any struggles with doing this style of crocheting the squares together, because if it's above, it's not gonna work. So if you notice, you only see 4 here and you see a gap here. So basically one side is for the right side of the pins and one side is for the left side of the pins. So right here, I'm just gonna sew down from where my pocket would actually start. And I'm sorry, I keep saying sew because I just sew a lot. That's usually what I do. But I mean crochet. Like I'm gonna crochet starting from here and I'm gonna crochet down. And once I get to where the crochet stitch overlaps, I'm gonna chain one right over it and then continue to crochet down like normal. And you'll do that throughout the whole process if you're using this way to crochet, because you can use a slip stitch, you could use single crochet, you can use whatever method you want to like crochet the squares together, or you could even sew the squares together with your yarn needle and darn with your yarn darning needle and your yarn. So there's so many ways you could put your granny squares together. It doesn't have to be this way. And I'm just showing you like the 4 squares at the bottom that's not attached is for the pants leg, and the 3 on one side is for one side of the pants, and the 2 that was there was for the other. But what I did on one side, I did on the other, so that's why you see all of the squares finally put together here, because whatever I did on one side, I did it on the other side. So now where the right and the left meet, we're gonna go ahead and crochet that together as well, but we're gonna stop right at that second square because we're gonna now flip the pins over, because we're gonna have to stitch it up where our crotch is going to begin. So these squares that we're hanging, which is what I'm like touching right now, these 4 here, that is for the thigh, the pants leg, we're gonna go ahead and just stitch up it like along the top, because that's what's going to help form our crotch. So as you see, I'm like putting them together and I'm stitching across the top of that granny square. Well, crocheting across the top of that granny square, because that's what's going to form our crotch, like help form the back of the pants. So this part here that I'm showing is still a part of the pants leg, so we're going to go ahead and crochet that up as well. And then that way we could close the top of these pants up by adding our diamond shaped granny square. Now, our diamond shaped granny square is going to be attached to those 4 squares in the back that is for our waist and hips. And as you see, I'm going to go into that second chain 2 space because we already worked on that first chain space. So we're going to go ahead into the back loops of that second chain space and continue to like crochet normally, but I just wanted y'all to know like how I'm attaching it, so I am able to get the squares to line up evenly on all sides of each square. So now that the diamond shaped heart is attached to the back, we're going to go ahead and stitch up the sides on the front that's still open where our pocket is going to reside, because you know we need to finish dipping up the pins. So right here is uneven because that's where I closed off the square. So I realized I need to count on the side that is not closed off and see how many stitches I have left, and basically know that I need to stitch in a certain place for the other side to make sure that it's even.
Alright, I sewed these up, right? These are gonna be the pockets. So here's the issue. This. I don't like the flowers on the inside, but I sewed this whole crocheted thing. So I don't like this. Like I've been thinking like, oh, you could just live with it, it's fine, or whatever. I can't live with it. I don't like it. I don't like this. I don't like it. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm probably gonna have to take this all apart, and the way I crocheted it up means like I'm probably gonna have to start this all over. So I'm not really thrilled. I'm actually really annoyed. So I'm gonna work on something else because this is not gonna be done by Valentine's Day. So y'all be seeing this another time.
So I end up mustering up the energy and strength to undo all of the stitches that needed to be undone to fix the square placement. So that's basically everything. And I end up switching it like this. As you see that I have certain squares, like the flat squares on the inside, now that I know what the inside of the pants and where it's gonna lie. And now I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of the pants leg, which is by threes. They're all by threes, and I'm gonna stitch them across because I need to stitch them down towards the very end. So they're in a row of threes again, and once I finish that, we can kind of like test it out and see how they fit around my leg. So I clipped them to the pants just to see again like how they fit around my leg. And right here I'm like, oh, crochet straight down. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm about to show you right here why not to do that.
Okay, as you see her, this is very tense.
Like, this was crazy. The tension that this was giving was ridiculous.
It is not what I want. So we gotta fix this. So I'll take this out and we gotta figure out another way to do it.
And I know to never do that again, but we're gonna go ahead and fix this. And this time, this was an easy fix. Like, I didn't have to take everything apart to fix it. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take that part apart. And because of the way that I just crocheted across, I just had to go to the back and basically like just undo that whole stitch. I thought I was doing something clever by doing it, but no, I wasn't. So I went ahead and just undid that stitch just a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and crochet to where like the two meet, like at the crotch. So I'm just going to stitch it to where like that seam goes straight into the back, as you see here. And then I'm gonna go like a little bit over just to tie it off so it's clean and I don't get any gaping, like no gaps, no holes. And we're gonna go ahead and start from the other side, from the back, and crochet it back over to the front, and then tie it off, and we're pretty much done with that. And we could get right into attaching the pants leg. So we're gonna attach the pants leg from the second squares. Well, you see where we're attaching the pants leg, and we attached it all the way down. And now we're gonna basically crochet it up and around, like where the crotch is. Yep, crochet it up and around, and that's when we'll attach the second pants leg going straight down. And basically what you do from one side, you do to the other. So when we sew that middle piece up, we're going to sew that middle piece up again. And now we're going to go ahead and flip it so that we could basically crochet the pants leg in around. So we're going to attach that diamond shape granny square back to the top the way it was like when we did it the first time in the first clip. So I'm gonna zoom past that because you already saw how I did it and how I attached it. And now that that's done, we're gonna do the same for the pants leg. We're gonna just crochet that straight down, and then we're going to crochet it in the round. Like, crochet straight down, now crochet it in the round. So okay, so how to get it to look flat and line up in the front is that I'm basically gonna crochet these two pieces normally, like every stitch, for every stitch, like it's evenly matched, right? Now once we get here, it is no longer going to be evenly matched. We're going to need to fit these three into those two. Okay, so right here I'm basically decreasing on the top square. So I'm going in one, going in another, as you see, and then pulling through all. So basically, if it makes sense, I'll do one regular stitch, two decreases, one regular stitch, two decreases. So I do one regular stitch, I decrease once, decrease again for another stitch, and then do one regular stitch. And that's how I was able to get all of the squares to like basically like fit in this pants leg. Now because it's slim fit, you see like the bulging and stuff like that. When I actually had the weight on me, it basically like stretched out, like you didn't even see the bulging, but now that I lost the weight, you kind of see the bulging. So if I make another granny square pants again, I'm gonna figure out another way to do it. But yeah,
So we're gonna start in here. Okay.
for people that have fuller legs, not like mine, I have like little chicken legs, so basically my legs get slimmer towards the bottom. If you have fuller legs, you don't even have to do this step. You could do 4 granny squares all the way down because your legs are full and it will still give you that slim fit. But for me, I had to decrease on the amount of granny squares I did because my legs get skinnier. But anyways, we're working on the waistband, and I'm going into that chain 2 space, and I started with 3 chain up and another double crochet in that same spot, and then in that middle peak, that middle chain 2 space of my granny square diamond shaped one, I'm doing a single crochet. And then I'm going back into that chain 2 space of the next granny square, and I'm putting 2 double crochets. And then the next chain 1 space of the granny square, I'm going to put 2 double crochets. And basically, if you watched my previous granny square pants video, I'm doing the same exact waistband. The only thing that makes this waistband different is that in that middle diamond shape granny square, I'm putting a single crochet, 1 single crochet, and that's it. I'm not gonna do like anything spectacular or different than the normal waistbands that I normally do. For the waistband, I decided to use a 5.5 millimeter hook.
Alright, so now we're back where we started.
So basically, I'm single crocheting on top of the previous single crochet. It may be a little tight, but you can definitely work it in there. Make sure you have those 2 loops on your hook, and we're going to single crochet and start our front post and back post double crochets.
Front post. And then I'm going to make back post. And post. And then
What made these crochet pants slimmer fit is that I just made the crochet squares smaller and then changed how I pieced them together just a little bit, but just make your crochet squares smaller.
So we made it back around. Let me undo. So I ended with a back post double crochet. So now what I'm gonna do is single crochet into here where we had our single crochet, and now I'm gonna do
a front post, which means what I'm doing is easier for you to watch than for me to try to explain what a back post and front post double crochet is. But yeah, basically I'm gonna do that all the way around, and once I get back to the single crochet part, I'm just gonna single crochet on top of the previous single crochet.
Alright, so this is my last one.
Drop the leash.
I'm gonna go in
Step back. You do it.
to this.
Look back. Another 10 feet. Look back. Go.
And right now I just one more row.
All right. Let's try it.
So once I get back around, I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into the top of my single crochet and chain 1 to close off and pull the yarn through, and we're done with the waistband. I went around 5 or 4 times, but you could go around as many times as you want for the height that you want your waistband to be. And I went ahead and put in my pockets, and then you don't have to do pockets. But yeah, and I chained, I believe, 200, and that was for my drawstring. And I'm gonna just basically put my drawstring in, like I crocheted in. Some people use a darning needle, but whatever works. And my waistband is going to, my waistband string is going to end in the back where my V is. I was so excited about that detail on the pants. Like, you could literally wear these pants in the front and back.
Okay, so we started it this way. and I just figured out another way to do it. I want my hearts to be facing the opposite direction, so I made a sample, and this is what I'm going to be using, so hopefully, yeah. So I actually end up doing the hem of the pants like this instead.
And this is the final look. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know how you feel about the pants in the comment section below. And I have so many other like little pieces to go with these pants, and I can't wait to upload them and for you guys to see them. Until next time, lovelies, later.